So lately I've been doing a lot of book reviews for authors that are represented by big publishers. So let's go ahead and do a book review for a smaller author that deserves just as much credit as the ones that are represented by big publishers. The book I want to talk about is What Should Have Been by Aurelia Yates. I gave this one 5 stars and 3 on the spice meter. Some of the things you come to expect in this book are loss of a spouse, second chance romance, and some darker themes, so check those trigger warnings. There is a lot of secrets and grief in this book. Some of those secrets come to light, and some of those secrets aren't always, good to find out. If this is kind of something that you might be more relatable to or something you've gone through recently, your mental health is important to me, so I want you to know before you jump into this book. So if you've been following me for a while, you would know that I've done 2 or 3 books already by her, so you would know that I actually appreciate the way she writes, so you should not be surprised to see me doing another one by her. So here are some of my thoughts on this one. This one, I was just kind of all into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like a super emotional contemporary romance, just the way it starts out. And I'm just, all in my feels, really reading the book and just like all up in my feels. And then like, bam, I'm hit with some darker themes, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, like I'm not surprised because like I said, I read previous of her books before. So, and we know I like darker stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, woohoo, like I'm all here for it. So I'm here for it. I just kind of like was not expecting. I was like, whoa, in my face, because I was like all in my feels and like, going through the emotions with the character, and like my heart was hurting, and then it was just like, whoa, in my face. But but I'm gonna have to say I do love the book itself. I really feel like it moves at a really actually quick pace because it is really not a super long book, so it makes it a very easy read. There is spice in this book, and the spice is fairly descriptive, but I would say with this book is very plot driven in my personal opinion. I have to say, when I was reading this book, I was getting very flustered, and I was like getting very angry at one of the characters in the book, and I was like, should I feel guilty? Should I feel guilty about feeling this way about this character? And then I'm like, no, I don't feel guilty about feeling this way about this character, because no, he is a jerk. I don't care. This, you know what? I don't care. And then, yeah, because for a while there I was like, oh, I should feel guilty over this. Should I feel guilty? Like I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I was totally like confused for a while with that one. But anyways, if you decide to read the book, you will totally get where I'm coming from with that one. The MMC in this book, Cade, I have to say, oh my gosh, I was swooning over him. Just the way that he is for her, and like when you get to see his point of view and his thoughts on things, you're like, oh, swoon worthy. And we already know that, bad boys with tats are kind of like my weakness anyways, especially the ones that are misunderstood. As I said before, you kind of get the second chance romance. And so this one is just, oh my gosh, I'm all for the second chance romance. And to kind of up the stakes on this one without giving a whole lot away, I'm going to say the male main character with the second chance romance is her late husband's twin brother. So, ooh, that kind of, just to kind of pull you in and give you a little bit more idea to excite you on the book. I think overall, I just really loved this book. I really like the way it moved. I really like the way this author writes her books anyways. She keeps you in with the heartache. She keeps you in with some angst. She keeps in with like darker themes, but the book isn't necessarily over dark. I know when we say, oh, darker like themes, sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, she reads some really dark romance. I have to be careful taking recs from her. I do. You're not wrong. But this one has darker themes, and there is some darker stuff in here. So definitely check those trigger warnings. But this one is not the darkest of the dark I've read. So I'm just telling you to check your trigger warnings on this one and just be mindful going in. But this one is not super dark, so you would be more okay reading this one. Just be careful going in. Again, this one is contemporary romance with darker themes, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick overview so you can decide whether you want to read this one or not. Paige has her world come crashing down around her, and in her time of mourning, dark secrets come finding their way into the light. And if that wasn't bad enough, a friend from her past has returned. And with him, undeniable attraction is flaring between them, and he is determined not to let her ignore it. This book was enthralling and heart-wrenching, and it is available on Kindle Unlimited. I love this one, and I think you just might too.